I never saw it coming. If you had asked me a year ago, I would have told you that 26F, and I were solid. We had history, love, and a future I was certain of. But now, sitting in this half-empty apartment, I'm realizing just how much I've lost, and how much of it is my fault. I remember the first time I felt something was off. It was a Tuesday night, and I'd come home late, again. My job had been eating away at me for months, but I always told myself that it was temporary, that the long hours and stress were necessary for us to build the life we wanted. When I walked through the door, I found her on the couch, staring at her phone, with a look I couldn't quite place. "Hey," I said. Dropping my bag by the door. "Hey," she replied, her voice distant, her eyes barely lifting to meet mine. I should have known then. I should have asked her what was wrong, should have pried more when she brushed me off with a simple "I'm just tired." But I didn't. I let it slide, too exhausted myself to see the cracks forming in our relationship. Over the next few weeks, those cracks turned into chasms. I noticed her texting more, smiling at her phone in a way she hadn't smiled at me in months. She started coming home later, claiming she was busy with work. I wanted to believe her, I needed to believe her, but a part of me knew something was wrong. I just didn't have the courage to face it. Then one night, she didn't come home at all. I stayed up waiting, my heart pounding with a mix of anger and fear. When she finally walked through the door at 3 a.m., I confronted her. That's when she told me about him, 28M, the guy she'd been spending so much time with. She swore nothing had happened, that it was just emotional, but the betrayal cut deep. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. She moved out a few days later, saying we needed time apart to figure things out. The silence in the apartment was suffocating, but I thought maybe, just maybe, this would be our wake-up call. I started therapy, determined to understand where I went wrong, how I had let her slip away. After a few weeks, she called. She said she missed me, that she wanted to try again. My heart leaped with hope. We met up, talked about what we'd been going through, and agreed to give it another shot. For the first time in months, I felt like we had a chance. Things were better for a while. We went to therapy together, started spending more time reconnecting. I thought we were on the road to recovery. But there was always something in her eyes, a hesitation, a distance that hadn't been there before. I tried to ignore it, convincing myself that time would heal us. Then came the first twist. We were at dinner one night, talking about our future, when she dropped the bombshell. She was pregnant. My heart stopped. We hadn't been trying, and with everything we'd been through, this was the last thing I expected. I wanted to be happy, I should have been, but all I could think about was 28M. Was it mine? I didn't dare ask her, but the doubt gnawed at me. We went to the doctor together, and when I saw the ultrasound, I felt a surge of love and fear all at once. I decided then that I would be there for her, for our child, no matter what. I chose to believe her when she assured me it was mine, that she hadn't been with him like that. For a few weeks, we were happy, genuinely happy. We started planning for the baby, talking about names, and dreaming about our future together, but the happiness was short-lived. The second twist came when she lost the baby. We were devastated, both of us grieving in our own ways. But instead of bringing us closer, the loss drove us apart. She became distant again, slipping back into old patterns, and I found myself spiraling into a dark place. I didn't know how to comfort her, and she didn't know how to let me in. We were two broken people, unable to find solace in each other. Then came the third and final twist. One night, after yet another fight, she confessed that she had lied. The baby might not have been mine. She had slept with 28Me once, just before we got back together. She had been too scared to tell me, hoping that the baby would bring us closer, that it would fix what was broken. But now, with the baby gone, the truth had come out. I was shattered. I didn't know what to do, what to feel. I had fought so hard to save us, to rebuild what we had, but now I didn't know if there was anything left to save. I felt betrayed all over again, but this time it cut deeper because I had let myself hope. We've been separated for a month now. I don't know if we'll ever find our way back to each other. Part of me still loves her, still wants to forgive her, but another part of me knows that some things can't be undone. The trust we had is gone, and I don't know if we can ever rebuild it. All I know is that I'm sitting here, in this empty apartment, trying to figure out how everything fell apart. I keep replaying the past year in my mind, wondering what I could have done differently, how I could have seen the signs earlier. But in the end, I know that it wasn't just one thing that broke us, it was everything. Maybe one day I'll be able to move on, to find peace with what happened. But right now, all I feel is loss of the future we could have had, loss of the love we once shared, and loss of the person I thought I was. Is this considered cheating? I'm confused. I'm in the middle of, I 26F been dating my boyfriend 27M for about a year and a half now. Life is great with him, and I always thought of him as my knight in shining armor. His role as the man in the relationship amazes me. I've never been in a feminine state till I met him. I'm usually masculine. Side note, my ex cheated on me with multiple women, always caught him texting. I was always crying, begging him to choose me and treat me right. Basically tolerated bare minimum for 3 years. I never once had to do that with my boyfriend, so early 5 a.m. I got a phone call that he's in jail. I search him up and it's for a DUI. He usually goes to get something to eat late at night due to his munchies. Never takes more than 10 minutes. So I was confused on why he wasn't home. But his location was set to his house? Anyways, I go to his house after work, see his iPad is there, I grab him some clothes, his spare car key. I notice some unsaved numbers on his iPad, so I check who they are through Cash App and Zelle. 2 were his guy friends. 1 number was a girl that I have no idea about, so I figured I'd just let him explain himself, and if his stories don't match I will go through his phone. I never go through his phone, so head back to the jail to go get him. The moment I go get him, he's in going out clothes, and I allow him to explain himself. But his story just doesn't make sense, so I ask for his phone, which he hands to me. Keep in mind the number I seen on his iPad. After going through his phone, I don't see that number or name anywhere. So I go through his recently deleted and I found it there with another number. I re-upload them with the unknown number. The conversation went by his name, then him asking if she got home safely at 2:42 a.m. She just responded yes. That was it. The second conversation went him, WYD tonight. She replied, I'm in bed BB, I have to be up early. And he said, with all due respect, because I'm drunk AFRN, but long do you expect to chase you down at 11:42 p.m. End of conversation. She never responded. After talking to his guy friends, they said they were at his house playing fantasy. And today was the day I found out my boyfriend had a coke problem. He said he was on his way to go pick up some coke around 1:45 to 2 a.m. and got pulled over by the time he got back home. I also seen multiple numbers on his call log, and he said those were all his coke plugs, after being cheating on and knowing the red signs to look out for. IDK, what to do with this man? It's genuinely the fact that he lied to me and talked to those girls and deleted the messages. I know a gaslighter, a manipulator when I see one. He said he deleted them because he was ashamed of what he did last night, being high on coke and drunk. So he didn't want to see those messages. But if he was ashamed, shouldn't he have deleted his call log as well? He was also talking to his homies about last night and how they were drinking and needed lines. So why didn't he delete that? I'm so confused on what to do. The new version of me wants to end it. I already told him I don't want to see him anytime soon. He left to church this morning too. Last night, he said he wanted to be a better man for himself, for us. Funny thing about church is that my friend's husband had a coke problem too, and he was caught messaging woman, and now he's a man of God righting his wrongs. My man made fun of her husband because of that. Now he's in the same situation. All he said was hypocrisy is cruel. Being in jail taught me a lot, so I want to end things because of this. Yes, but is it wrong of me to not want to give him another chance? I feel yes too. I do believe in second chances and only second chances. I'm not that same girl who begged her ex for bare minimum and to stop cheating on me. I need some insight on couples, please. I wanna know if my decision will be best for me.